Firstly, Taoiseach, I didn't get an answer to my previous question about vulture funds evicting people and being allowed to do so, so I would appreciate an answer on that because it's happening in the teeth of Christmas. But in terms of public sector reform, there's been a lot of mud thrown in people's eyes by the government in response to the demands of the student nurses and midwives to be paid for their work on placement, to be respected for the role they've played in COVID, and not to be financially punished with shocking fees that they have to pay. So they're actually paying for the privilege of being exploited. But one aspect of this, Taoiseach, and your explanations to date just simply refuse to respond to this point. See, what all of the student nurses and midwives say is that the majority of us are leaving when we're finishing our training because we've been treated so badly in our 4 years, and because we're facing into an understaffed, under-resourced health service. And the two things are directly connected. Their exploitation as students and their non-payment as students, for them is a precursor of what they're going to face afterwards. And of course, that's the truth. That's why the nurses went out on strike last year. Our health service is in a perilous state and our healthcare workers' morale is on the floor. Okay? And that is the reason why you should stop with this nonsense that it would somehow compromise their education to financially remunerate them during their training and indeed take the burden of fees off them, because it would actually allow us to recruit and retain these student nurses and stop them flooding out of the country when we desperately need them to stay and work in our health service.
In relation to Deputy Boyd Barrett's points in terms of the vulture funds, I didn't get a chance earlier. You saw my time was just got very short. So I will engage with the relevant ministers in relation to that. Any behaviour that's that's of a nature which is depriving other people of their rights is unacceptable. I will pursue that issue in terms of the management of estates and the legal framework governing the management of complexes, and to make sure that people's rights are not transgressed, or not that any particular loopholes are not exploited in a ruthless and inhumane manner. In relation